sewing friends! In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of printing and assembling PDF sewing patterns. Whether you're a seasoned sewist or you're a beginner and you're wanting to learn more, this video is going to clarify everything you ever wondered about printing and assembling PDF patterns. All right, let's begin. At this point, you should have already printed out your pattern, and if you need help on how to print, you can go to the show notes, and I've linked a video there, and it will show you how to print whether you're using a desktop computer or a mobile device. All right, to begin with, I'm going to be working with the US letter size sheets, but also I'm going to show you how to use it if you're an international sewist and you're using A4. I'll also show you how, because it's just a little bit different between the two. So you want to have some tape nearby and a good open surface. So to begin with, you want to take your first page and you're going to take the page to the right. You're going to lay it on top and you're going to butt it right up to that guideline. It's a vertical guideline and you want to butt it right up to but not over, and just tape it down. All right, here we go. So you're just going to continue down the line, butting it up right to that vertical guideline, but not over, and taping as you go. If you ever need to see a map of how all the pieces are laid out, you can find that on page 3 of the instructions. So now we're coming to the second row, and we're just going to take our page and lay it on top of the first row, butting it up right to that guideline, and again, not over it, but just right to it. And we'll continue down the row. The pattern that I'm putting together right now is called the Classic Tee, and you can find it for $5 on the Love Notions website. It's a great relaxed fit tee pattern. I like to go in and reinforce the corners by just taping over them. Even if they're not on a pattern piece, I just think it keeps the pages together a little bit better if all the corners are taped. If you don't like tape or you want to try something else, some people have had luck using a glue stick. It's not my preferred method because I find the pattern pieces themselves hard to store when the glue dries and you fold your pattern up and then pieces come apart. I much prefer tape. If you're ever finding that as you're assembling a piece, it's just really not lining up, but everything else is, go back and reprint that one page and see if that helps your alignment issue. Sometimes if the paper is not snugly in the printer tray, it can kind of get out of whack a little bit. So definitely recommend taping every edge, even if there's not a pattern piece there. Like I didn't tape this one, I can already tell that it's kind of shifting things off. So you want to make sure that every edge is secured down in at least one spot. So here we are on our last piece here, and so if you notice that these are neckbands, I'm going to tape all 3 neckbands. There's different options, just so when I'm cutting those pieces off, I don't inadvertently lose a piece that wasn't taped. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and cut the pattern pieces out. I like using a rotary, and don't worry, I'm not using this on fabric. I have 2 rotary cutters. I use one that's just for fabric, and then I have another one that's usually a cheaper one that I use for paper. Okay. You can absolutely use scissors if you prefer. You don't want to take a chance with a rotary cutter. Anything that cuts paper will do. But you can see how quickly this is going. On Love Notions patterns, I put my pattern markings inside the pattern piece. A lot of times, like the big 4 paper patterns, they'll have those notches on the outside, so you have to be careful to go around those notches. You don't have to worry about that with Love Notions patterns. Okay, I have all my pattern pieces. This is a very simple pattern. There are only 5 pieces, front, back, sleeve, neckline, so there we go. Now these are ready to cut out your favorite fabric and get sewing. So one of the many benefits of PDF patterns is that you always have your digital file that you can always reprint if you lose your file or you lose your printout or if you change sizes. Your pattern files are always available to you, especially Love Notions patterns. Our digital files, they don't expire and there's no download limit, so you always have access to them. So you're probably wondering, how are you going to store all these paper pattern pieces? There's a couple ways you can do it. Here at the workshop, we like to just gather all the pieces together at one point and use clothespins on a hanger, and we have a rack that we hang all our patterns up. So it makes it real easy just to reference and find your pattern you're looking for, and you don't have to fold pieces up. That works for us. But also, you can also fold your pattern pieces up and put them in a manila folder. If you're one of our wonderful international pattern users, you're probably printing on A4 paper. Not to worry, Love Notions patterns also works on A4. You don't have to have a different file or anything like that. Our files are set up for both US letter and A4, and I'll show you how to assemble them because it's just a tiny bit different. So still, we're going to take our first page and put the second page on top of the first. But now you're going to notice that there is a dotted line. That dotted line is for A4 paper. So we're lining up to the dotted line this time instead of the solid line. The dotted vertical line is what we want. We're going to go right up to and tape it and continue on. When you come to the second row, the big difference with A4 is your page will have a line at the top. You can either trim that away, or you can fold it back, or you can just kind of visually see these pages. Paper is not usually that thick, but you can probably see through it. You're just going to line that up to the solid line on the page below it. And I'll trim a page here and show you what that looks like in case you would prefer to trim. I've also heard of people using a big window to line their pattern pages up. So to top here, to trim it, you could just take your rotary cutter and cut at that top line, because that's the extra bit of length that A4 paper has that US doesn't. So then in that case, I would go ahead and butt it up to the horizontal guideline and then the vertical dotted line. And there we go. So in case you're printing from a mobile device and you don't have access to that cool layers feature, I'm going to show you a little tip that you can still easily use your patterns. And this is just to use a highlighter to highlight your size line. I really do try to, when I'm drafting a pattern and formatting it, I really try to make the lines clear, so even the people who aren't able to use the layers can still absolutely use these files without any trouble. But highlighting the lines helps if you just need a little bit more visual guidance. If you're a little lost putting your pattern pages together, be sure to reference page 3 in the tutorial, and that will give you a nice map basically of where each pattern piece is, and that can help you lay out the pattern pieces a little bit better. On that page 3 is also a print chart, so you're never printing more pages than you really need to. Hopefully this video is giving you a little bit of confidence on how to print and assemble PDF patterns, but if you're still a little overwhelmed, it's okay. Love Notions also offers large format files, and these are files that print out on large 36-inch wide by 48-inch long pieces of paper, usually done by a copy shop, and they print it out for you and they ship it right to your door. We really recommend using pdfplotting.com to use their large format printing service. They are fast, they're economical, and they have great customer service. At Love Notion Sewing Patterns, we really hope you enjoy the entire process, from printing to assembling to construction, and especially to wearing your new make.